The first thing we would like to talk about today is feature-based machining in both Visual CAD/CAM and Rhino CAM 2018. There's been numerous enhancements and new features that have been added to feature-based machining. So the first thing I'm going to cover here is automatic feature detection and automatic feature machining. So these can be found under the Machining Objects browser on the tab called Features. You have several additional options in 2018. The first one we're going to talk about is automatic feature detection. So selecting automatic feature detection automatically analyzes and identifies all the different features from the solid model that you're working on. So with just a single button click, you will see that all of the features have been identified and automatically identifies the features for all the different orientations that you have. So in this particular part there's two possible orientations you could program this part from. So there's one from the top and one from the bottom, and there's two orientations, and as you expand the tree for each orientation, you'll see that there are several different features identified based on the part that you have for each of these orientation in here. Now once you have these features identified in here, we've now introduced a single button click to automatically program machining operations to these. So you just have to select automatic feature machining under the Features tab, and in this process you will notice that it automatically generates the tool path for each of these features. So we have a facing operation program for the open pocket. For closed prismatic pockets, you could program pocketing, slot machining for slot features, profiling, drilling, and chamfer operations. Now you could establish a knowledge base and have them associate to these features. That's how you can automate this to a single button click for feature, automatically programming for these features. So this is called AFM, Automatic Feature Machining. And what we just looked at earlier was automatic feature detection, which would be AFD. Now we also have interactive feature machining as well, detection and machining. We'll get to that in just a moment. So once I have these features detected in here and programmed, I'm going to run a quick verification. So I'm going to hit Simulate, select the Play option under the Simulate tab, and you'll notice that we've completely programmed the part by just two button clicks. One click to identify and detect the features. The second click is to automatically program the tool paths with these using feature detection and machining. Now let's go back one step and graphically analyze some of these features and see how we can program it. So since we already identified these features in here, as you hover your cursor right on top of each of these features, you will notice that the corresponding features are being highlighted on the part. So if you just hover the cursor over it, you'll notice that it identifies the feature as a prismatic pocket. You could now perform a right mouse button click on these features, and this will automatically let you choose the operation type. So if you do a right click, so for the closed pocket, what I've selected, I could either be programming a pocketing or a profiling operation. So now I could pick pocketing in here, and this automatically adds the feature to the operation. You could then make a selection for your tool, establish your cut parameters, and you'll also notice that the cut levels are automatically established based on the feature. And you can see that the depth per cut is automatically established. So all I got to do is hit Generate, and the tool path is now generated. Now if I go hover the cursor right over a slot feature and perform a right click, you will notice that the operations that you can program for a slot feature are automatically identified. So it automatically filters out the operation and identifies the best technique or best method to use for programming these features. So right click, and now I can select slotting. And once you made your choice for the tool, establish your cut levels, you'll notice that all of these parameters are automatically populated based on the feature that was identified. And then if you need to change or adjust any of the slot parameters, you can do that and then pick Generate to program the tool path. Now finally, we want to program this, the open pocket in here. So I'm going to right click on this, And you'll notice that for an open pocket, I could rough it out with a facing operation and then go back and finish it with a profiling operation. So I could right-click and choose facing. Again, the feature is automatically selected. You make a selection for your tool, establish your parameters for roughing, and then you'll see that the cut levels automatically has the depth established from the feature, and then you have your depth per cut automatically filled in as well. So selecting generate will create the tool paths for you. So you have the facing, slot machining, and the pocket operation. So this is interactive feature machining where you can interactively graphically select the features from the model and generate the tool paths. Now, this took a certain amount of time. We had to interactively program each feature. Now, the automatic feature machining makes it a lot faster. So once you have your knowledge base established, it would be just a single button click. So you just highlight the orientation and then click on automatic feature machining, and you'll notice that in just a single button click, you're able to program each of these features in here. You have your drill, pocket operations, slot, facing, all of the operations are automatically programmed with a single button click. Now I'm also going to go ahead and show this to you in our visual CAD/CAM product as well. We'll take a look at another example and see how we can identify some of the other feature types as well. So again, in here I also have a prismatic part. So I'm going to go into the Features tab, and you can either do automatic feature detection like we did on the other example, or you could interactively identify features, and you can just pick faces from which you would want to identify the features and then perform a right mouse button click, and it'll automatically identify the features for each of the orientations. So we now have identified features for 3 different orientations: the top, the front, and the right faces. And as you expand this, you'll see that there's a planar face and a slot feature identified for the front, and there's also a hole feature, a planar face and hole feature identified in here. So to program these operations, you could either interactively select the feature, right-click, and program it. So in this particular case, I have a stepped pocket feature, and I can still program the step pocket using a pocketing for a roughing, and then go back and finish it with a profiling operation. So I pick pocketing in here, make a selection for the tool, establish the parameters, and then pick generate. So we now program the step pocket feature in here. So there's several different types of features we can identify in 2018, and I'll give you a list of different features. Now, in addition to the features, we have a feature report in here where you can list all the different feature types. It lists and gives you all the feature properties and parameters for it. So when you click on list features, it basically gives you information about each and every feature that have been identified on the part. You can also hover your cursor over each and every feature in here, and it automatically identifies the depth and the diameter. For example, for the whole feature that we identified in here, you will notice that you have a depth of 0.262, and then it also establishes the min and the max diameter for each of these holes. Now as I switch back to the other part here in RhinoCam, you will notice that when I hover the cursor over the prismatic pocket, it identifies the depth and the information about a preview about what type of feature it is in this particular case. So this gives you a preview information about the feature, so you can basically adapt whatever cutting strategy that you want to use and the tool that you'd like to select for it. Now the next thing I would like to show is the type of features that we can identify in our 2018 version. So we can identify whole features, prismatic pocket features, open prismatic pocket, boss features, general 3D pocket features, which could be programmed using 3-axis operation, slot features, open slots, T-slot, V-slot, general pocket for 3-axis, planar face, fillet, chamfer features, and step pocket. So these are some of the additional new types that we've added for our 2018 release, in addition to some of the feature types that we had in our previous versions of the product. Folks, at this point of time, if you do have any questions about feature detection and feature-based machining, please feel free to post those questions and we'll try to get them answered for you.
I just want to jump in here. This is Joe. Just a little note about the feature-based machining. First thing I want to emphasize here is if you've noticed, Uday, when he did the interactive feature detection, not detection, but machining, he had to pick each of the feature and actually create the operations. And I was timing him, and it took him about 3 minutes to create 4 or 5 operations, which is not bad, which is actually pretty good compared to the previous ways of machining where you actually have to pick the edge curves and select the depths automatically, or not automatically, but actually have to figure out the depths, go pick the depths and all of that. And all of that in interactive feature detection and machining has been removed. And so you're able to machine relatively quickly. 3 minutes for 4 or 5 features is actually quite good. But then if you take that one step further, where he did the automatic feature machining, it was just a couple of seconds. I mean, he did talk for a while, but just 2 button pokes, a couple of seconds, you got toolpaths for the entire feature model. Yes, you have to do some setup work first, but once you set everything up in the terms of knowledge bases and all that, you can generate toolpaths very efficiently and very quickly. And so this has been our focus for the 2018 product, and will continue to be a focus for the coming versions. More automation, and you probably heard Uday say automatic about probably 20 times. I counted more than 20 times. And that's really been our focus for the 2018 and also for the future products as we move into 2019 and further. We're going to be introducing additional features, feature types, and turning as well. So this is the future of CAM here, people. So this is really exciting for us, and I hope you see the promise in the things that we're showing you today.